Welcome to the channel, Bob's Mods, and I have a 2007 Casita, and I've done some mods. What is that up there? That's a skylight. Different logo. We got storage. We have a horizontal tank. So let's get going. Those are just a couple I want to show you guys. Let's get started on the skylight. Everybody's interested, I'm sure. So there that is. Custom made. Definitely leak proof. All right, I'll show you more about that. I got a video coming up on it, and that video is just going to be photos. I did not record that. The trailer was faded out. I did end up sanding the whole trailer down, and the decals were bad, so we ended up getting this decal here for it. I'm going to do a walk around of the whole trailer right now and just let you get a view of it all. Like I say, there's a toolbox mounted. That's the step for the front, or the steps for the step. There's a horizontal tank that slides out. 30-gallon horizontal tank. Come around the side. There's some window shades I made. Stainless steel snaps, aluminum rivets, silicone into the siding. I did what you could call blacking it out. So all of my compartments were pretty much faded out. Everything was a different color when I got it. So I just went with black. I really like the newer Casitas with that gray paint on the bottom. So I ended up painting this one. So the 20 degree gets it up off the ground a little bit more, and it allowed me to do some of the work I needed to do over there. This is the 20 degree axle. This camper had over 30,000 miles on it. The people that owned it, the one owner, they were travelers. So they have been across this country and into Canada. They loved it. So when I got it, it just needed a little tender love and care. But all in all, it's really good bones to work with. I say we'll just get around and then I'll come back and show you a few other things. This here, you can see I have dual bumpers on it with a little toolbox, and that toolbox has I just keep my sewer supplies in there. So new tail lights, another sunscreen. Well, there that is. I don't know if you've seen the video of me building the grill mount. But there that is. That came out pretty good. I'm really happy with that. Like I say, that all fits into a tote. Then over to the front. There you go again. The decals there, I just ordered decals from Casita, and that's what they sent me, so I just had to make those work. I left the sunscreen off of this side so you could see the tinted windows. So keeps it a little cooler going down the highway. I'm around, different light, black handle. I had this receptacle was full of water not too long ago, so I ended up getting this cover here siliconing it in good so no water can get in there. Installed a gas line for the barbecue. And over here we have the large step. So I have a size 12 and it fits on there. So all this is a plate that I made. Let me see if I can get that. There you go. It's got a little hook there and a hook on the back. And that's it. Replaced all the running lights with LEDs. So the awning is the original awning from 2007. So why is it in such great shape? Well, early on in its ownership, the awning blew off. So the owner stored it. And then when I purchased the trailer, they gave it to me. Now, it was kind of bent a little bit, not bad. The end caps were broken. I had to get new mounting hardware from Casita. Yeah, that's about it. They actually had a rafter for the center they gave me, so very generous of them. If you come around, you'll notice the trailer, the blacking, the joining aluminum. I put vinyl tape around there for separation just to pop it out a little bit. And then even on my awning front, I had some tape left over, so I put it on there. Good thing about the vinyl tape, it goes bad, you just rip it off and start over or not. So I also made these plates for the awning legs. The purpose behind these is I can nail them down permanently here one time during our trip. Then at night, or when wind picks up, or I'm leaving and I want to put the awning up, that just comes out, I roll everything up. Otherwise, I was pounding my stakes through here on either side. Then at night, I'd have to pull them stakes out and roll everything up. Next day, I'd put the awning out and I'd pound new stakes. So this here stays like that the whole trip. Let's go through a few things now. I'll get a little more detailed. So I wanted a toolbox in front, but I didn't want the high mount one. I wanted it down low. So that's when I decided to go with a 30-gallon propane tank. Now, I'm not a big propane user. We use it for the stove and the barbecue. I run electric water heater and an electric heater for the inside, interior. So I don't go through a lot of propane. And at the same time, we're not dry campers to where we're stuck out without propane. And if I were a dry camper, I would still have a spare bottle in my truck. So 30 gallons is more than enough. This didn't come with a seal. It was a cheaper model, and I was fine with that. I just keep basic supplies in here. All my hoses, cables, parts, chocks. Little risers for the jacks. Jack. It gets more in it. Didn't come with a seal. I put a seal on it. Just back of the truck's going to throw a lot of water up at it. So put those hinges on just to make sure she stays nice and tight. Nice and sealed. There's the electric jack, a must-have. Cleaned up the front, put some new chains on, painted them. I live in a very humid part of the country, so just keeps the rust down. This here is a little mount I made to hold my step. So we'll take this off. That comes out. I'll put that up there and just bring the legs out. And put it in front. And I'll always have that. It's just, you know, when you're bending down to get down, that puts your body in a weird position. So having a nice big step and another step close by, it really helps out. There's that paint job. It came out really, really good. Not car finish by no means, but really good. I used car paint, automotive paint with a, what did it have? It had accelerator, it had a hardener, thinner. So it was a good paint. I'll put that company up. I found them on eBay. I basically painted this for around, being that I have paint left over, $75. But all in all, I had, I think 120. I might want to up that because I did buy a lot of tape to tape this off. I got some pictures I'll throw in. So I hate these little shower compartments. I've had travel trailers for years, trailers and motorhomes, and nothing ever fits. They're cheap. Sorry, just don't like them. So what I did is I made this box bigger. Remember, on the other side is your seat to your dinette, and you can get in there. Screwed that on to that fitting onto the cold water side. So it's basically hooked up the same, but it has just one spigot there. Oh, now it's just off and on, nice and easy. This actually can go right through the window. These windows, the screen slides up, the window slides up, and that's what I wash out my black tank with before I leave. Over here in the battery compartment, I have a lithium battery and a DC to DC charger. So as I'm traveling, I use 12-volt power on my refrigerator. Now, in order to do that without draining that battery completely, you have to run a, let's just say I ran a separate line. So I got some nice 6-gauge wire here, and that goes all the way to the truck, and it has its own separate plug in the truck. Keep that charged. And I have a plug here. I can do solar if I want, and or that's a 12-volt plug for outside. I also got rid of that little compartment. The compartment's not bad, but when you're in cold country, that cable winds up pretty tight in there. So I ended up just putting a plug in, capping that off. Just a standard RV plug. A lot of people have done that. Hot water tank, we've done all the upgrades. I leave this, I drain it, take out the anoid, and let it sit. Now there's one thing a lot of people don't know about, and trailers come this way. Let's see if I can get in there. It's tight. There it is. You can kind of see that little switch. That's an off and on switch for your power right there. So if you don't have that on, you can't run 12 volt or 110. A lot of people wonder why their RV the water isn't heating up on power. Well, it's that switch. I shut that switch off as soon as I leave, just in case I bump the one in the trailer. It doesn't heat up because it has. Back to the dual bumpers. So this just gives me a little extra storage. I got one I can just have there. The deal is, like I say, where I'm at, very humid. And very rusty. So this one's pretty bad. So I just push that back, the little cable on there. I can pull that, I can push that in. This one here, I'll show you the video, but this is actually a vinyl fence post. So a vinyl fence post costs about 25 bucks. These here, a set of these cost about 13, 14 bucks. The metal found for the brackets, at one time I paid for it, but this trip it was free. Oh, there we go. Our bike rack. So we have a mount for the bike rack. There it is. And then on the bike rack, I have some tail lights. So take off this light and all the wiring's there. And I was able to put a plug in to plug my bike rack in. The bike rack, the tires on the bike rack hide these lights. So it was really important for me to get some lights on that bike rack. You can see the two mounts there that are holding up the vinyl. There you go. Just bolted to the steel one and the vinyl one. My arm was able to reach in just far enough. Like I say, here's my barbecue mount that collapses and fits into a tote. Unscrew it here, and unscrew it there, and all breaks down and goes into the tote that the barbecue sits in. So everything's in one area. Over here, I did end up getting these clips. Good luck finding those and not paying less than $45 for those. Those were hard to come by. I think those came from Germany. I believe that's where the awning's made at. So this is where the water tank is, but there's quite a bit of storage in here. So I put this on just so that's out of the way, and then you can reach in here and get what you need. This is kind of a cool little thing here. This is, let me get this. So what this is my fresh water. When I'm at a campground that doesn't have water, I have a 6-gallon jug. It's a nice square one, tall square. And then go like that. I plug this into that plug I showed you on the other side. This goes inside the water bottle. And then that goes on the pump one side, and there's another hose in here that goes from here into the back of the trailer. So I can go do 6-gallon trips without lifting up a big old bucket of water. And I tried that with a funnel and all. Not too convenient. So we have a lot of wasps where I live, so these are very important. This is the older model. The newer models have littler holes. See how big those holes are? So I'm either going to screen those, or I'm probably going to buy the black covers. Only problem with the black covers is this trim is going to be white, and then I got to go through all of the taping and everything to get those black. So you see these here. So I might be wrong, but what I noticed, I was getting a lot of water inside during rains. Rain's a ton here. We've probably already had 26 inches of rain here this year in 7 months. So I noticed the water run just sheets down, and then it would come over the lip here, and then it would go in kind of in, and then once it got to this ledge, it dripped, and by the time the drip stopped, it'd be about right here, and it'd start all over again. So I put these aluminum drip rails in to try to just divert the water. I'm not sold on them yet. I'm not getting water in there, so I guess they work, but that was just I gotta try something thing. We do have the keyless entry on here, and then this here, we know how those come around and hit here. So mine was pretty dented in there. So this is actually a piece of steel glued on with some kind of tough glue, and then there's a piece of Velcro just to kind of make it smooth so it's not scratching it up. So I don't mind if it does that. Doesn't bother me. Steel on steel. I did replace all of the rubber on the door. So it shuts nice, but you kind of got to give it a shove inward when you open it. It's sealed. That's one thing I didn't talk about, was I replaced all the rubber on the windows. You know how it shrinks up? It'll come back a good ½ inch. And then there's that vinyl tape. I just heated it up over the rivets. Heck, it's holding up pretty good. I'm happy with that. That was just one of those, let's try it, but it's holding up. This vent is shut off on the inside, so it's siliconed up underneath so that no air gets in. And on the refrigerator, everything has basically been replaced. There's 2 heaters. There's a 12-volt heater, a 110 heater. Those been replaced. And then the gas portion, the ammonia part, I believe it is, has always worked pretty good on gas. So no problem there. I did put a new control board in it just to make sure everything was up to snuff. Try not to have problems when you're out there camping. You know, $100 fix sitting at the house is a lot easier than trying to find the parts and the right tools to do things while you're out. So anytime you have a thought of something going bad or whatever it may be, just fix it. Enjoy your trip while you're out. Back at the battery box, just keep in mind when you put a lithium battery in, you do have to change your converter over so it supports lithium. You know what? I haven't shown you those wires yet. Let's go back up front. So, this is my plug for my battery. So those wires come all the way down. And then on the back of my truck, it has its separate mount. So you're looking at a good 40 feet from your battery of your truck back. Those little 12 gauge wires, you're losing a lot of amperage by the time it gets back here. It doesn't charge as well as you think. So think about that. Sometimes I do things just to do them. I don't have a lot of purpose sometimes. I just do them. Like painting chains. So I just wanted to show you, my sister has a machine that does that, and we like the hummingbirds. So she made us a screen. Well, she did that on a screen, and then I installed it on our door. Do you have the bigger window with the shade on it? Well, I think that's it for the outside. I'm going to do a part 2 on the inside. So this video is going to end. Make sure you go over and watch part 2. I got more mods coming up. I have one on the barbecue grill. And then I'm going to be crawling underneath the trailer and show you what I did with the holding tank and the plumbing. That was a big retrofit. Changed it all up from what Casita has. So with that, thanks for watching, and I hope you like and subscribe.